All right, so for the final step of this cake, what we're going to do is create a gorgeous peony flower. Lots of times they're used in many wedding cakes and things. Nowadays, they come in all different kinds of colors. You don't generally see them in purple, but for purposes of our cake, we are making a purple peony flower. And the beauty of cake decorating is you can do anything you want. So the idea is to put this big, gorgeous flower on the side of the cake, and then we're going to write our message on the top of the cake. And I've made several different things to show you how we do it. This actually was a peony flower that was hanging upside down. I use the little sponge pieces to keep the petals a little bit apart so that it gives it a much more realistic look. And you can see as it dries, you just gently, with a tweezers, lift them out of its spaces, and then you have a beautiful flower. There we go in here. I'll just show you how we take them apart. And it just leaves just enough space in between the flower so that it looks realistic. You start off with a little purple gum paste. Just going to take a little bit. And again, I'm going to put a little shortening on my hand so it doesn't stick, and kind of knead the gum paste a little bit just to get it a little bit more pliable. And you can make this purple as dark as you want. It's really up to you. Prepare my surface with cornstarch. Now with gum paste, the beauty of gum paste is you can really roll it out a lot thinner than fondant and really get a transparent look for many different flowers that you're going for. So you definitely want to roll this out thin, but not too thin. And if it gets a little sticky, certainly use a little bit more cornstarch. Now there's 4 different size cutters that I use. We're going to be cutting 10 of each size of these cutters, and we'll work with 10 petals at a time. Now for purposes of this flower, up until this point, we only did the first 20 petals, and that gave us about 4 rows of flowers because it's usually generally 5 petals to each row. So we're going to cut out 10 of these little petals and make sure they're nice and clean on the edges. To save the petals from getting a thin, drying, I just put them underneath my little mat here to keep them. And then I work with 1 petal at a time. The first thing I do is I use this double impression leaf veiner. It's an all-purpose leaf veiner. There's many different veiners out there on the market, but I just really like this one. It gives really nice lines for the peony flower. You'll see how pretty that comes out. It's beautiful on both sides. It's very realistic looking. I place it on my mat, and then all I use is the veiner or Dresden tool, and you use the wider end and turn it a little bit on its side and simply pull out, press and pull out to frill the ends of the flowers of each petal. And you're going to make the petal a little bit bigger when you do this, which is fine because the peony petals are very frilly at the top, and then that's it. So you have 1 petal over here. Then what I usually do is I just simply place it under a cup. So again, it doesn't dry out. And I do this with all 10 leaves and prepare them to put onto my styrofoam ball. And here we go. On its side, press down, frill out the leaves until you like it, and place it under the cup. So I'm going to do that with all the leaves until all 10 of them are finished. And then I'll show you how I do the first few rows of our flower. Okay, so I did a few of the first smaller petals, and what I'm going to do is brush my styrofoam ball. And these styrofoam balls you can get anywhere. You can get at craft stores, you can order them online. They're just, I think this is a 1-inch styrofoam ball. They're used a lot for florists when they do little decorating things. So I just kind of brushed it a little bit with some gel, some piping gel. And then what you're going to do is take the leaf and you're going to put the leaf on from the bottom of the ball and just kind of wrap it around and gently pat it into place. And the other leaf you're going to put, or the other petal, you're going to put directly on the other side and just kind of wrap it over as if it's two hands kind of, one on top of each other. That's kind of what the look that you're going for. You want to make sure that there's no white of the foam ball sticking out, because this is going to create the nucleus of the flower, and it's really important that you get that completely covered. Just make sure it's kind of cupped around. And then the rest of the flowers, the rest of the leaves, just kind of place again on the other side. So you're in essence covering the whole styrofoam ball with the leaves. And then the last one, I might just need a little bit. I'm using water actually. But whether you use water or piping gel, or you can use egg white, or you can use a mixture of Tylose powder and water, whatever you like to use is completely fine. And here we go. So that is making the first layer of our leaves. Okay? And for right now, you can either hang it upside down or you can put it in a styrofoam block, whatever you want to do. And the rest of the leaves, you're just going to cut out 10 of each portion, and we'll do this at a later video as well, but you're going to cut out 10 leaves from each size and continue to put them around the flower. And after a few layers, you're going to wind up with something that looks like this. And this is about 1, 2, 3, 4, about five layers of petals. What I've done here is I've made these leaves ahead of time, and I use just regular clear plastic spoons. I take the leaves, I put them on the clear plastic spoons just to kind of help me form it a little bit, and I let it dry overnight. And then you just simply put a little bit of water or piping gel, whatever you want, on the back of the flower. And then you alternate leaves. So I can see that there's one leaf here and there's one leaf here, or petals, I keep saying leaves. And I'm going to put the next layer of petals kind of right there. So now that I showed you some of the beginning ways of how to make a peony flower, we're going to wind up using this flower to put on our cake and finish off the cake. And then we'll address how to make the full peony flower in an upcoming video. So what I'm going to be using to place the flower on the cake is some royal icing. Royal icing is the glue for a cake decorator. And it's really simply powdered sugar and egg whites. And that's it. And you just put a little bit of royal icing on there. It dries hard like candy, and it's really versatile to use, and it's a great resource to fix all types of things for cake decorating. The only key with it is you always have to keep it covered because it does dry really quickly. Okay, so we're going to carefully take our flower and just simply place it on the cake. Like so. Just let it naturally fall where it may. And then I thought to embellish the flower and make it look even larger, these are petals that I placed on wires, and you simply take the wires, just push it into the cake at an angle, And it just kind of makes the flower look even that much bigger. Okay, so I'm just putting the last leaf under the flower. And there you have it. Isn't that beautiful? It's really gorgeous. And then the last little piece that we're going to be doing is putting the ribbon around the cake. And all you're going to do is take a piece of ribbon. I think this is like 1-inch ribbon around the bottom of the cake so that you don't see the foam board. And let me just snip this off. And there you have it. Our cake is finished. You can write messages on top of it. You can just leave it the way it is, and it is a beautiful presentation cake for any occasion. And I thank you for watching, and look for more videos to come.